Because I have been working in the media for 20 or 30 years, and I'd read a lot about this, but I was still very moved by the Peace Museum. And
thank you for your time. Where are you from?
I'm from Australia.
Australia. Nice. What do you do in your country?
I'm a university professor at the University of Sydney.
Nice. Okay. If you don't mind my asking, how old are you?
I'm 61 and I retired last week.
Last week.
Yes. So this is a celebration trip with my husband.
Oh, thank you for choosing Japan. Okay. How long have you stayed in Hiroshima?
We've only been in Hiroshima for one night and one day.
One day. What's the impression about Hiroshima?
Hiroshima is a lovely, quiet little city. It reminds me a lot of Adelaide in Australia. I'm quite surprised that it is so peaceful. I think it's maybe something to do with the way people understand, the aftermath of the bombing.
What made you come to Hiroshima?
I've been an anti-nuclear campaigner, an environmental campaigner since I was 19 years old. And I had always wanted to come to Hiroshima because I had been campaigning against nuclear power and nuclear weapons. And even though I'd read a lot about the aftermath of the bombing, I wanted to see for myself and to imagine what it would do to a city. So I felt I had to come here. My Japanese students, journalism students, also encouraged me to come here.
Okay. We went to Peace Museum together. What did you feel in Peace Museum?
I was surprised that I was so overwhelmed by the display of the pain and the suffering and the difficulty that people experienced, because I have been working in the media for 20 or 30 years, and I'd read a lot about this, but I was still very moved by the Peace Museum and very happy also to see so many people there experiencing, the exhibition of what people suffered in Hiroshima.
Which part of museum impressed you the most?
Oh, well, you can't help but be impressed by the stories, some of the personal stories of people and how the bombing affected them and their families. I was also very interested as a journalist and a broadcaster by the display of the photographs by the Japanese photographers and looking at how they had recorded the aftermath of the bombing. And I was very pleased to see the section on the dangers of nuclear weapons, because I don't think we take that danger seriously enough.
Okay. We also went to Atomic Bomb Dome.
Yes.
When we go there, what did you feel when you see it?
I expected to feel quite sad, but I actually felt more impact from going downstairs in the cellar at the tourist information.
Yeah.
I could imagine what it was like to survive that sort of catastrophe. And so seeing the dome itself was not as moving as feeling like that guy who was downstairs in the cellar who'd gone down to get some archives, and then his world was destroyed. That was surprising to me.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Do you think, is there anything we can do for peace?
yes, I do think there are things that ordinary people can do to achieve fewer nuclear weapons and less nuclear power in the world. I think they should switch to alternative power sources, so solar and wind and geothermals. I think they should march when there are peace protests in their country. Definitely get out there and let your politicians know that you are against the use of nuclear weapons and essentially nuclear assisted weapons. And also help those in countries at war. So, help our brothers and sisters in the Ukraine and colleagues and friends and families in Gaza.
You talk about how to educate in Australia about history of Hiroshima, like
Yes.
nuclear weapon. Could you tell about that one?
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of children in Australia learn Japanese at school, usually in high school. And that was part of a big education program in the 1980s. And as part of learning Japanese, they often learn about Hiroshima. And so many Australians do come here to see the city and to bring the little cranes. So my daughter brought 1,000 cranes that she had taken 3 years to make when we came over here. Yeah, and I teach my journalism students about Hiroshima and how to report sensitively on disasters. And I tell them about a guy called Wilfred Burchett, who was an Australian reporter who came to Hiroshima after the bomb was dropped to tell the world, because a lot of people had no idea what had happened. So his reporting was carried in Europe, in the UK, and so on.
How do you think about nuclear weapon?
I find nuclear weapons and nuclear weapons capability terrifying. We are currently protesting in Australia because the federal government has agreed to buy nuclear submarines from the US government, and they want to put the base very near to my home. I don't think we need a nuclear submarine capacity, and I don't believe that America will be able to provide it either, because they can't even provide their own Navy nuclear submarines, up-to-date nuclear submarines. So I'm very strongly opposed to nuclear weapons.
Okay. What's the peace means to you? Like, what's peace for you?
What is peace?
Yeah, it's a tough question.
Big question. Peace to me means people from all sorts of different racial, ethnic and cultural backgrounds being able to live together in the same places with harmony, to whatever extent they can. We have tried very hard to do that in Australia. It's not perfect, but I really believe that we should strive to learn about other cultures and learn about other ways of living and understanding the world.
Can I ask you, how was my tour?
Your tour was terrific. I enjoyed it a lot, and I really appreciated you taking time to rest with me when I was overwhelmed a little bit. I had to sit down and just think. And just showing me different aspects of Hiroshima and talking about your family. And I really liked the fact that we saw that crane over there. He came to welcome us. Tower. Yeah. Going up to the Horizo Tower and looking out over the city and making the cranes. That was fantastic. That was really good.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finally, do you have any comment for people watching this video?
I would really strongly recommend that you take one of the walking tours. I found it to be a really interesting way to get to know the city and to find out more about the background to the atomic bomb and the aftermath than I ever could have learned. It was fantastic. So, yeah, definitely give it a try.
Okay, thank you. It's finished. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for
That's
your
all
time.
right.